people see me being interviewed by, Larry King or
humble brag,
Marie Forleo or, Lewis Howes or this person or that person. They go, oh, that's because Brendon got on those shows. I'm like, I don't think that's the most important thing. I think.
Yeah, the most important thing is that he's in the guru circle and they can all self-reference each other and keep doing these 7, 8-figure, 9-figure launches because they're all building off of each other's audiences. The rest of us do not have that opportunity.
The most important thing.
Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of the Brendon Burchard reaction video. My name's Nicole, I own a marketing company and I do these reaction videos every week, checking out different gurus and what they have to say online and sometimes agreeing with them, sometimes debunking what they say. So if you missed part 1, I'll link it in the cards here. But so I suggest watching that first because the second part will make more sense. But hey, if you want to watch part 2 first, I'm not here to stop you. So without further ado, let's get back into it. So this is an ad read.
I want to make sure that you go check out growthday.com. It's an all-in-one personal development platform where you can do everything you would like to do for
his name. The podcasting network is like the Growth Day Network or something.
Personal development in one place. You can capture your mindset journaling, set your goals, track your habits and improve them, take wellness challenges, and learn from the highest powered, highest paid, most respected motivational teachers, wellness coaches, and life coaches in the world live every week. One trial, we just call it Starter, that's where you're just using the tools. It's the mindset journal where we prompt you with tons of research-backed prompts to help you become more positive, confident, self-aware, and happy. We've got your goal tracking system. That's where you set your personal development goals and reminders. So like reminders to meditate or reminders to call your partner.
Yeah, you can set phone alarms and you can use a tool like Notion or Evernote or even a Google Sheet to track stuff too. Like you don't need this guy to like
partner and flirt or, reminders to make sure that you do.
Wait, there was a reminder to flirt. Hold on, I gotta go back.
Happy. We've got your goal tracking system. That's where you set your personal development goals and reminders. So like reminders to meditate or reminders to call your partner and flirt or,
Ben, if you're watching this video, you should set a reminder to flirt with me. It's so weird.
Reminders to make sure that you do this one project. It's also got, importantly, your habit tracking system. This is where you can track your high performance habits, which we teach you to do. And then you receive targeted scores and recommended videos to improve those. Our pro level now includes live classes. We've got the best teachers in all of personal and professional development, period, in the app. These folks all charge over $50,000 for a 1-hour keynote, but they're live every single month in Growth Day teaching for 45 minutes.
I don't know how I feel about a $50,000 1-hour keynote. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about someone making that kind of money for an hour-long rah-rah speech.
Then we have what we call all access. And that's where you get the...
God, how many levels are there? There's growth and then there's all access and...
tools, plus the live classes, but also over 20 deep dive, powerful life transformative courses. So these courses, these classes, these are things that would cost over $3,000 a month to access.
I bet you that they are not worth $3,000 one time even to access.
But Growth Day Pro, as an example, is less than $1 a day. Your personal development is worth $1 a day. Your access to these people is worth $1 a day. But you can start free right now when you go to...
Do I have access to them or do I have access to content they've produced? Big difference there. If I can just I can watch videos of Lisa Bilyeu on her YouTube channel. That doesn't... I'm not messaging her through her... I'm just consuming her content. So this access to individuals thing is like to me, pretty inaccurate.
Growthday.com.
Okay, 29.59. Okay, 29.59. Maybe we're back.
Okay, next up
We're back. Okay.
is which trend changed my marketing strategies. And I don't know if
Short form video.
it is just a trend that I'm finally coming around to, but it is a trend we're seeing in conversions. And we just kind of ran the data on our marketing ads on Facebook. And I asked Alex to pull a list of our videos that were getting basically the most click-through on our Facebook ads in video format. And here's what we learned. And this was my guess about it. And we set it to be true. And
I learned something that I didn't expect, but I was kind of expecting it. And when I pulled the data, I was like, oh yeah, I was expecting that. This guy cannot just admit that like he was wrong about something or he didn't know something or he failed at something. It's so weird.
If you saw any of the huge viral videos in the thought leader space in the last probably 12 months, the 4 out of the 10 that I had on my spreadsheet, not out of our own, I'll talk about that, out of the 4 out of the 10 biggest videos that I saw in our space, they were all interview-based. They were interview-based. And that was kind of a change up because if you look at what goes viral on YouTube, it was almost always direct to camera, or it might have been like, a behind the scenes, like follow me type of video. And obviously I'm known for both of those now.
I feel like interview content, in particular for like podcasts as a format, has been popular for a really long time. So, and also like 40%. So 4 out of 10 videos, aka 40%. To me, like 40% isn't a really big number when you're only looking at 10 total videos. So I don't know if this is a statistically significant thing.
More the direct to camera than the follow me stuff. But as we watched those over and over and over again, we saw them hit. Many of you guys saw the Simon Sinek video that was viewed over 50 million times.
I'm going to say something that might not make me very popular here, but I really don't get the big deal about Simon Sinek at all. I bought one of his books and I got through about 4 chapters of it. And I've tried watching his videos. I don't get what the big deal is. I don't know. Like I said, he's fine. I just don't get why he's so wildly popular. But anyway.
Who knows? I don't even know what the ultimate number was. And it was an interview with him and Tom Bilyeu on the Impact Factor. And Simon went for controversy, which I don't agree with the strategy, and I don't do it in my own brand or business. But he makes his career speaking. So,
okay, edgelord Tom Bilyeu also goes for controversy. So I think we cannot fault one without also faulting the other here.
It's good for him to do things like that, even if he's woefully inaccurate. But what he did is he said, basically, here's what millennials are like. And he took on millennials.
Yeah, I think that's my thing. Apparently me and Brendon agree on this one thing, which is that Simon Sinek seems kind of like a dick, but.
And he took on those of us in the marketplace who judge millennials, and he was pretty hard about it. And he was doing it. I mean, it was a clickbait interview at the end of the day, but it was.
But if you go after millennials or any particular group of people, that's all clickbaity content. So Brendon, if you're producing content that's attacking millennials, that is all equally clickbaity.
Interview format. And I have high opinions about the content of that, but very, very deep clarity about why it worked. And that format of interview over and over and over and over again was a big result of some of the major videos we saw. So why do I say that? Because when we pulled our most recent promotion from did we get all the videos in High Performance Habits? I think we did. So, right, Alex looked at all the videos we've had that we've boosted or promoted or run ads against so far for High Performance Habits for my book launch. And the #1 video that got the most click-through for us was an interview-based, meaning someone was interviewing me on camera. I think the second element it's like, oh, what's this expert speaking on? It's a little different, right?
I think the other thing too with like promoting earned media. So earned media is this idea that like you're getting press somewhere else, right? You're speaking on someone else's platform. Someone else is platforming you in some way, whether they're interviewing you on their podcast or whether like they're writing about you on their blog or something. I think promoting content that is about you, but that is not created by you is a little bit more powerful because it's almost like if I say how great I am, like, okay, that's one thing. But if you saw a video of someone talking about how great I am, and that person was like an expert in the field, I think it would be like a stronger, more persuasive piece of content because it's not coming from me. I think that's more of what it is, but
because more and more people have learned to sell direct to camera like this. A lot of people associate this direct to camera, at least outside of YouTube, as being sales. And then
I'm not trying to sell you a damn thing, although I am wanting you to subscribe to the YouTube channel so that I can monetize. I guess that's the only thing. I really want to do this YouTube series called Happy Hour Websites, where I have a beverage and I design a website, or I redesign a website over the course of like 1 to 2 hours. I really want to do it. I have an idea for the structure. I just can't justify spending any more time filming videos unless I'm at least lightly monetizing them. So the only thing I'm selling you here is please subscribe to my YouTube channel. But I am looking to camera. I will admit that.
Other element to it is it just brings a complete different energy when there's two people to cut and back and forth between. Because honestly, the one that scored really high for us, I was sick as a dog in that video. I'm surprised that video worked at all. I look like I'm dying. You know, I even sounded horrible, but it was.
You know, there was a podcast for a while that Chris Guillebeau was doing. And it's called Side Hustle School. And I would say most podcast formats, I was listening to a lot more podcasts a couple of years ago. I still listen to some now, but a lot of them are interview style. So there's two people. But this podcast was called Side Hustle School. And what he was doing is for a year, he was doing one episode a day where he was basically showcasing people who started side hustles. And, you know, so it'd be like, hey, this is, you know, Brenda. And, you know, Brenda needed some extra money in high school. So she started, you know, and she had crocheted the scarf. And one of her friends said, hey, where'd you get the scarf? And so Brenda started crocheting scarves and she listed them on Etsy, you know, so it would tell this whole story. But Chris Guillebeau did the whole podcast. Like he didn't interview Brenda about her scarves, right? Or something to get that soundbite. It was all him telling the stories and doing all the ad reads too. And so even though the episodes were only like 5 to 8 minutes long, it was hard to listen to a lot of them in a row because there wasn't that variation of voices. I think with these reaction videos, what makes them, I think, more interesting content, besides the fact that I'm picking on, I think, people who kind of quote unquote deserve it, is that there's this back and forth. So like we're listening to him and then we're listening to me talk about him. Versus in a lot of my live streams, I'm like sort of presenting a topic and talking about it. And I'm a singular voice. So that's just less interesting auditorially to listen to, I'm guessing.
Worked. So that is which trend changed my marketing strategies was the number of viral videos that were interview based. And what people are doing is they're chopping up those interview based videos into short little segments.
Short format video.
And so it's not always the full interview. It's just sort of the best of. And interviews are easy to do that with, right? Because you don't have to punch in or anything. You just change from interviewer back to the other person. It's easy to cut in. And
so short format interview style content. So I was like a little bit right, but I wasn't 100% right.
And I think it gave a great facility for video editors to find that quick change and that quick pacing of videos too. Because it changed the pacing. It allowed people to really address it. So if you
and if you're an interesting sound clip of like somebody talking about, you know, and I've done that with these reaction videos too. I've cut them into some short YouTube short videos and uploaded them. And I've gotten subscribers from those videos. I'm working on a longer format video to talk about the strategy and sort of, you know, compare my traffic to YouTube and subscribers before that. And then while running the short video, while posting the short videos on a regular basis and then afterward. But yeah, so people might see a little snippet of me talking about Bethany Beal and then be like, oh, this is kind of interesting. And then they'll watch the longer format content. So they'll be introduced to me in 60 seconds and then maybe watch a longer video. So that makes sense to me. So if there's an interesting point in the interview, I'm like, oh, I want to hear what else they have to say about this topic. I have to kind of listen to the whole thing. So that makes sense to me.
You don't have any ads running on Facebook that are interview based, do that. Even if you're like, but I ain't got no one to interview me. Yes, you do. Put a piece of paper with questions right there and talk to the questions. Just shoot yourself like this. I'm being totally serious. Just talk like this. Don't even worry if you're talking. Right now, I'm talking to a white wall.
You can also just like have a friend ask you the questions. You can say, you know, and I call myself a rentable extrovert. I'm like half joking, but you know, what I tell my clients is like, listen, if you're not comfortable on video or like you're not sure and you need somebody there, what I can do is I can sort of introduce you, you know, hi, I'm Nicole and welcome to this episode of whatever. I'm joined by, you know, coffee expert Jen, and she's going to talk about how she roasts small batch coffee at her business. So Jen, welcome. And then you know, we can make it sort of interviewee. So I bet that you have if you don't know me, feel free to contact me. I'm happy to do that for you. But you probably have a friend who does not mind being your extroverted wingman, who can serve as the host and have you be the guest, and they can ask you questions and make it interactive.
How you doing, Wall? Oh, you know what? Let me tell you about why I'm so passionate about that. Oh, here's the 3 things you need to know. And just talk to the wall, because you know what? They probably, at least a wall is blank. The interviewer might look at you like you're stupid, but the wall is always going to be participating in this entire thing.
A good interview is not going to make someone feel stupid. I will say I always feel really awkward when the interviewer is kind of up the ass of the person they're interviewing. And if you want to see an example of this, my Ed Milet video, where he is like overly complimentary of the guest, is like kind of uncomfortable. We don't want the interviewer to be hostile, but we want them to stand in for us as an audience, right? We want them to be asking the questions we want to ask. We don't want them to be like softballing easy questions. We don't want them to be screaming at the person or otherwise making them uncomfortable. So there is this like balance, if you're interviewing somebody, of the kind of tone that you're going for with that. So I would say most people who interview people or who would be comfortable doing that can at least look at you like they're moderately interested as you record a, you know, 5 to 15 minute video where they ask you questions.
Hopefully, you know, I'm kidding. But I just want you to know,
Oh,
you
you're
don't
kidding.
have to do anything
Okay.
fancy. Because, you know, people see me being interviewed by, you know, Larry King or
Humble brag, humble brag, humble brag.
Marie Forleo or, you know, Lewis Howes or this person or that person. They go, oh, that's because Brendon got on those shows. I'm like, I don't think that's the most important thing. I think.
Yeah, the most important thing is that he's in the guru circle and they can all self-reference each other and keep doing these 7, 8-figure, 9-figure launches because they're all building off of each other's audiences. The rest of us do not have that opportunity.
The most important thing is the demonstration of expertise.
And the connection to the guru. That's the important part. If you would sever ties with all of these people, if you would sever ties with Lisa Bilyeu and Marie Forleo and all of these experts, and you had to start from scratch, you had to just be a normal person starting from scratch, you could not replicate the success, Brendon. Right? We know that. You and I both know that. Other people watching might also know that too.
And that nice cut that you get when you have a side angle. And that really helps. Okay, next up, 4 reasons that people take high-priced offers and how not to make them. Okay, number 1 way not to make a high-price offer is to make it like your other offers. It's very important. If they're used,
it's not like other offers,
to seeing you present, you know, your products, your programs in one setting, when you go to shoot a higher-priced offer, you need to change the setting. In other words, it needs to look and feel very different. I need you to change it up. Like,
it's got to hit different.
Really switch it up. So for me, many of you guys have seen our $10,000 offer levels, like when I do 10X Publishing or 10X Empire or any of our bigger offers, I usually
10X Empire.
Change it up. Like our most.
Do we think he's in with Grant Cardone too? Because I would say that title signifies that he's at least comfortable with being associated with his platform?
Lucrative $10,000 offer that I ever did.
Humble brag.
We had 2 cameras in there, and I had this huge white wall, and we had taped with painter's tape a butcher paper, white butcher paper, for probably 12 feet on this huge wall. Okay, and I started at one. I had a Sharpie in my hand, a big black Sharpie, and I just started writing and drawing schematics out all the way across those 12 feet in one singular take. Like, I practiced about it. Me and Travis rehearsed like the change and the shoot and everything. And it was a really advanced shot. And it was all one take, me working all the way across, writing these things out, teaching them a little thing, selling it, teaching, selling, all the way across. I had never done that before. Looked completely different. And it smashed it because it looked different and I approached it different. So just, you don't.
I think a lot of people would not necessarily feel comfortable like doing something like that. This is somebody who's very comfortable on camera, very comfortable presenting material. And I mean, I guess if you're selling a course, probably you are too, because you're used to teaching. But I would say a lot of people aren't comfortable with this format. And yeah, I used to, when I worked at the newspaper, I got suckered into doing this video segment called the Weekday Weather. I am so sad these videos don't actually exist anywhere anymore, because they were on the newspaper's website and they've redesigned and rebranded a bunch of times since then. But, in 2007, 2008, every single day, well, every weekday, I would go with the video camera somewhere in town and I would record a weather video, because the newspaper was going for a daily video feature award for the year. And the person who was doing the weather, who was awesome, like, so I was in Maine and she had like the real down east Maine accent. She would do the weather and everyone loved it because, like, her name was Vicky Jordan and she could do the Maine accent way better than I just tried to do just now. And she left the company, but like there was still 6 more months to go. And so they were like, hey, Nicole, can you do the weekday weather? And so I did it. I can't do the accent clearly, so I just did the weather. And I will say something about sort of filming, editing, and uploading that video every day. It did get me really comfortable on camera, I think, in a way that, a lot of people don't have that kind of experience. So the point with that is that I started calling myself One Take Willette, and my goal was to do the weekday weather in one take. So I would set up the shot, and I self-filmed, right? Because like, it's not like the newspaper was going to send a camera person with me, right? The whole point was like low budget. So I would set up the camera, press record, get in front of it, and I would do the weather in one take, stop the video. Now, I called myself One Take Willette way before I actually got to being good enough to do it in one take, but it took me a while to get there. And that was a literal 60-second segment about the local weather. I cannot imagine doing a long format video without needing to do a take, unless I was doing a live stream, and then in which case I would like acknowledge that, oh, I accidentally said this or whatever, and it would be kind of laid back. But anyway, so I don't know why he's telling this story, because I think most people probably couldn't make a piece of content like that without having years of experience.
Don't sell a book the same way you sell a $5,000 program, $2,000 program, $1,000. You got to change it up. Very important to change your scene, okay? But you also need to change the entire gravitas of the offer. And here's what I mean. You are selling this. When you are ever selling high price, you are selling next level. You are acknowledging that people watching are already successful, right? So first, think about that. Because if you're one of those people who assumes your audience is dumb or suffering or bad.
This guy opened the podcast by saying, if you do this, you don't know anything about marketing. I don't think he was assuming we were successful here. Just saying.
You're probably attracting that. See, if you've ever been to HPA or any of our events, and everyone's like, God, Brendon, your audience is so amazing. It's because when I'm shooting things, I'm always honoring people as already successful. And my job is to take you to the next level. Well, I'm very strategic about that when I'm presenting something that's higher priced. I'm constantly framing in that video, and even like for myself, this conversation about what is the next level? What is the advanced stuff? That's what you're selling. What's the advanced stuff that's going to help me get to the next level of success. Not the first level of success, next level of success, right? Because first level of success, you're charging less for that, right? First level of success, you're selling a book. You're selling a $100, $200, $300 less program. You're selling 500 and above, you're not selling first level of success. You're not selling initial success. You're essentially selling high performance. You're selling next level, advanced. Got it? Huge. Okay, next up. You're also really doing more conversation about the distinctions of the results that you got that are different. Okay? So you might do before and after case studies. You might share a very specific campaign and exactly what it looked like and exactly how it went. Right? Your results have to be more clear, more shown, just more distinct than normal. And you really need to emphasize this. Now, you can't guarantee that they're going to get results. So you have to tell them, this is just a case study of an example. I don't know if you'll get the same results. I don't know your background, your experience, your knowledge, your skill, your finances, anything about your competencies or your mother.
Are you acknowledging by saying you don't know someone's finances that somebody who has more finances has a higher likelihood of being successful? Also, this might be why Marie Forleo has 300 case studies about B School, even though over 40,000 people or something went through it or something. She has case studies for less than 1% of everybody who's gone through. So, but I guess if you have a high ticket item like that to sell, then you need those case studies.
What I do know is this is specifically what I did and what the outcome was. I can't guarantee the result, but let me walk you through as an illustration of an example of the process that will teach you, and then you show them the results. But the results have to be amazing. Like when I sell a $10,000 program, I'm showing them the results of something that, you know, generated usually 3, 4, 5, 10x that as an example. So
yeah, if you're going to spend money on something, you got to make more money on it than you spent on it. Like if you're buying a new photocopier for your business, like, and you're going to spend $5,000 on it, you have to justify that that copier is going to help you make at least $5,000, right? Like this is, God, a lot of this stuff is like business 101. So I don't know, but.
So you're selling results because that's what they're really looking for.
You're selling results, but you're being very explicit about not guaranteeing them. So are you really selling results, or are you selling the potential of results?
Or is distinction of results, right? How is this different is very important. Next up, you are selling, remember we talked about tactical education? Tactical education is like, here's how to do 5 things. When you're selling high price, you are selling systems. Show me, Brendon, the process, the map, the entire formula. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Project 1, project 2, project 3. Steps here, steps here, steps here. They want the whole plan. They want the whole map. You're not selling just conceptual big picture. You are showing the entire thing.
But I thought being tactical was getting specific about what people needed to do. I guess I'm not getting the distinction on how this is different.
And that's really important for people. They want to know you're going to show them the strategy and the steps.
Got it. The strategy too. So I'm not saying, hey, this is why you need to make an online course. And in this course, I'm going to teach you, how to outline your course, how to shoot your course, how to upload, and create your learning management system and whatever. So that would be a lower level, but a higher level would be like, this is how a course is going to transform your wellness business, right? So this is how the course is going to fit into the other things you're doing in your wellness business to make money. This is how you're going to introduce your course to the people who are already in your wellness business, or this is how the course is going to funnel people into your products and services of your wellness business. I see. I think, again, like it would help to have an example. And what I notice with a lot of these videos I make is I usually end up making up the example for the presenter. So we'll see if he gives an example.
Right? That's really important. And that strategy and the steps is built into a system. What does that mean? A system is just a series of strategies and steps, right? So think of like the system is strategy 1 with some steps, strategy 2 with some steps, strategy 3 with some steps. It's sequential, it's progress-based, and it's very clear.
And typically the other part of systems, I think, that people like, or why people kind of cling on to this word, is that it's typically consistent, which means you can replicate it over and over, right? So if I have a system of onboarding new customers, and let's say, I don't know, I get hit by a bus, and I'm in the hospital, like, the idea with the system is that if Ben or Jessica or, you know, Jane or any, or, you know, if somebody would have to like take over, they would be able to do that. And the other part with the system that is typically implied is that there's some automation to it. So a system, the idea with a system is that it's efficient, it's going to save you time, right? So whenever people talk about business systems, they're like, okay, so my system of onboarding a new client, okay, we're going to enter them in QuickBooks, and then I'm going to set up an automation that takes all their information from QuickBooks and brings them into our email marketing system, right? Something like that. So I'm literally making it up, but the idea with systems, besides what he's saying, is, you know, this idea of them being sort of somewhat automated and also replicatable by other people, or by, you know, not just you, essentially.
It's a system. In other words, they can follow it. This is where you're selling the bigger paint by numbers kind of approach to things. So if you ever came into my 10X programs, we give people, we call them placemats. They're like 11 by 17 sheets of boxes that we are filling in at the seminar together. So they have their entire strategy built before they leave the event. Like, it's really like built out for them. We're building campaigns and things that get results together at the event.
It's funny because whenever I give a workshop, I always actually try to have a part of the workshop where, like, because I want people to leave with something. So one day website, we literally get together. I buy, you know, I work with each person and we get them a domain name. I set up hosting for them. If they already have a website, I'll set up like a demo account on my server, and we build the website in class. So at the end of it, you know, if they build something they like, I can move it live to over their current website, or they can, I usually give them some time. Like, I say, hey, I'll let this be on my server for 2 months. You know, so if you want to keep working on it, you can. And if you want, I can send you the backup of it, you know, and you can decide to move it live or not when you're ready. But I always try to give workshops where we're actually getting something done, or like, hey, let's like come up with some marketing content ideas for you, like right now. Let's come up with them. You can share them with the class, and that might like jog someone else's ideas for content too. So I always try to build this into all my classes, even if someone's only paying $25 to attend. Most of my classes are between 25 and $50. So I try to do this anyway.
Okay. When you're going to sell high priced, obviously everything I've talked about has to be there too. But this last piece really needs to be there. And that is caring. We need to see.
You have to care about what you sell. Oh my God.
That you really care whether or not we are going to get what you are teaching. Like, it needs to be really in our face. Like, we have to feel.
You have to care up in their face.
Feel it from you at a different level, because you're asking for more money from them. And I think what people do when they're trying to sell something high priced, they're trying to be so confident and blah, 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 and blah, 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 and try to get the sale. You got to slow down. Several times throughout a higher price sales video, you actually have to break the pace, take it down, and let them know that you're there for them. Let them know that, hey, you know what, if you're really struggling in this, you'll be able to post in our Facebook group and ask us questions. If you don't get it, you just hit up our support and they'll explain it. You know, if you're not able to access it, that's okay. We're here for you all the time. You just have to you have to slow it down, look them in the eye, and tell them that you care, that they're going to do well. And this has to come across more the more money you charge. Makes sense, right? Like, if you're buying a $20 book from somebody, you don't really care whether they care about you. I mean, you do, but you're like, it's $20.
All right, everybody. Here's how to change a failing promotion. Okay. You have to tell people why they should buy something. You have to address objections. You have to understand that most of the sales are going to come in at the end, but that at some point you might have to pivot, but we're not going to really tell you when that is. And you actually have to care about your customers. God.
Right? It's like, do you want the knowledge and information? Yes, I do. Buy book. But when you're selling something, you know, hundreds or thousands of dollars, now I really care to know as a buyer that you're going
I don't care if you buy my $20 book, but now that you're buying my $200 thing, I really care.
to take care of me. Make sense? Right? It really matters. Like, it doesn't matter what you're selling. If you're selling a luxury car, this sells the luxury car more than luxury car does, right? That car salesperson's experience with you and what they're creating, this matters, right? That high touch, high care stuff, it really matters. And people forget that in online marketing all the time. That's why they struggle. I'm in the beginning stages of creating my first online course. Congratulations, Antoinette. There are so many mixed suggestions out there about when to launch. Should I create the entire course and give it to a beta tester group, or pre-sell it and only create it if it does well? I'm so confused. Antoinette, shoot the course, give it to people, get testimonials, sell it. Good to go. The course should not take any longer than for you to get up than the next 2 to 4 weeks. If you haven't created the course and put it up on the internet in 4 weeks, you're running in circles, you're doing all the wrong things. Shoot the videos.
Hear that, Bethany Beal? You should have only taken 2 to 4 weeks to shoot your course, not like the months that it's taken you.
Hit upload. Give it to some people. Give them 3 days to review it. Get some testimonials. Go. Joyce Wong says, Brendon, in my post or my video, I do give a call to action to get more audience engagement. Still do not have much engagement from the audience. What can I do to make them engage with my post?
Okay, so let me predict this answer. So how do I get engagement on my posts if people aren't engaging, even if I ask them specific questions? So he's going to say, have more like either video or some kind of interactive content. So maybe he's going to suggest you host a live webinar where you invite people to attend or something, I think. So that's my prediction.
One, Joyce, make sure that post is adding advanced value. It's not just saying, hey, please like. It's like, blow their minds. Do so good with what you're posting that they can't help talk about it, okay?
Oh, why is your post not doing well? You got to write a post that blows their minds. Okay. Can you give us some guidance on that?
First and foremost, content quality is everything. Second, incentivize that conversation by developing a pattern of reputation by you replying to the comments that your people are giving, right? I'm in Instagram.
My stuff's not getting any comments. What should I do? Reply to all the comments. But it's not getting any comments.
All the time. You could ask Anna. I'm in there and I'm replying to people on Instagram all the time personally, like all the time, because I'm trying to establish a rhythm that people know that engagement is rewarded with personal replies. That's huge, right?
If you're a woman watching this video, I have a little something for you. I was talking to Julie Anderson about this. We're working on a broadcast together next week, and we're kind of planning it. And I was talking to her, and I was like, you know, as a woman, if you've ever done online dating or just put yourself out there in any way, you get a lot more messages than men do. I turned on Facebook dating once for 3 days, and I got a lot of messages. Now, granted, I am not like, I'm cute, but I am not hot. So I couldn't even imagine if I was actually hot, like how many messages I would have gotten. But you don't need to, I'm going to give you permission that you don't have to reply to every message, because you're going to have creepy guys in your DMs. You're going to have like I said, so if Brendon is responding to things all the time, I bet that his female counterparts are getting at least twice the messages that he's getting. And we cannot be expected to keep up with a higher volume than, you know, and obviously, even if you like, I'm sure he gets a lot of messages, and I'm sure he would have a really hard time keeping up with probably double the messages that he's getting. So if you're a woman watching this video and you're like, oh, I have to respond to every message, you don't have to. You're getting more messages, and you're probably getting more creepy messages. So you don't have to respond. People are not owed a response, especially if they're being weird or creepy.
So it's the pattern of reputation of your responses that's just as important as the quality of the content. And then third, incentivize with something. Bonus, giveaway. Like, the reason I do giveaways during these live webcasts isn't just because, you know, Mr. Moneybags over here and I want to give free stuff all the time. It's because I want you guys here. Because I know when you're here, you get the training. When you get the training, you get the transformation. When you get the transformation, we get the word of mouth, and the business and the brand grows. You make your difference. I'm making my difference. We are all happy in fields of sunflowers and sundresses together. That's very important to me. It only happens if you get here live. So I need to make sure you're here live. That's why I give away swag, free trips, cool things. It's the only way I can do it. Joyce, it's just about getting them more engaged. That's.
You don't have enough engagement? Get more engagement. Give away free trips. Do these people like listen back to themselves after they give answers like this?
Very important. The content has to rock. So Joyce, if she does not have it yet, let's get her a free ticket, or free access to Experts Academy, our $2,000 online course. Joyce, just because you're here. And for the rest of you, so you engage.
So I have a feeling that she probably thinks she's created good content, right? Like, and she's asking like, okay, I'm creating content. I'm thinking about asking and you know, creating engaging content, but I'm not getting engagement. You have really successfully not answered her question at all.
Hey, Brendon, question. I still struggle with 5 years later in showing a lot of enthusiasm appropriate when selling a product. Generally, people associate with sad or stressful. In other words, she's training people on how to case manage for aging parents where they have a disability. It's a dry topic, right? Legal, insurance, navigating healthcare. So in other words, how do you sell difficult topics with enthusiasm? You have to, when you're sharing those difficult topics,
Empathy.
You have to share little insights that can bring humor in it, right? That can bring a real life look at things. Because dry topics are only dry topics if you're selling the topic, not real life. Meaning, okay, you have to make decisions for people that might even sound funny. So in your example, and trust me, this is from a person I'm not funny, right? I'm famous for not being funny. I can't do jokes. Like I can't remember a single joke. If you said, Brendon, tell me a joke, I'd be like, my face is the joke. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, remembering a joke versus being funny. Like I'm really bad at jokes, but I feel like I'm kind of a funny person. I've been told by multiple people that I'm funny. So it's not just like me thinking that. But yeah, I mean, I guess if telling jokes is funny and you're not good at telling jokes, I guess you're not funny.
Oh my God, I got nothing. So, but if I'm doing something for aging parents, I have to figure out what are some of the funny things that happen between us and parents. Not making fun of them aging, but just with parents. You know, think about a funny story with you and your parents that illustrates how much you love them and how much enthusiasm you have for caring for them, right? So tell a beautiful story about you and the parents, or about the audience and their parents, and just illustrate a beautiful little interaction that shares. And then you say, and that's why, as weird as it sounds, like I'm so enthusiastic and caring about taking care of them. Like, because we had these beautiful times in our life. Everybody wants to have that time in their life with their parents where they know their parents are okay. Like where the parents can enter the last part of their life enthusiastically and okay. So you can even say the words enthusiastically, if that helps Ceci. Meaning you don't have to be somber. You can be excited for the transformation that happens in the parent's life when they're in the right place and the right decisions have been made for them. You can talk about how when you and your spouse finally made the right decisions for your parents, that relief that came in, that guilt that was lifted from making the right decisions and knowing what to do, because you want to be enthusiastic for your audience to make the right decisions for themselves and their parents. I hope that helps illustrate that.
Yeah, I think I have a better idea for this. And I will say I get some of this from TikTok. So, you know, I follow a few people who are, you know, they're hospice healthcare workers. And they have some real interesting stories because, you know, like toward the end, when you know much to lose, you tell some pretty interesting stories. And probably, you know, a lot of them have some perspective about what it's like when the adult children have helped make some decisions for the parents versus when they're completely absent, and how that goes differently in, say, a hospice care or a nursing home type situation. That would be really compelling content. Or if you wanted to, if, your parent felt comfortable, you could say, hey, mom, dad, we got you into assisted living over the weekend. I know you had mixed feelings about this. Can we talk about kind of how it's going for you? And maybe they say, I was really hesitant to come here, but now it's great. I've like made some friends. I don't have to worry about making meals anymore. And, so-and-so comes and helps me get my medication every day. And, I didn't want to come here, but actually it's more fun than I thought, or something. I'm literally making these up. I don't know anything about this industry, but I feel like that would be a lot more compelling story-wise than what he's suggesting to do. But I guess it would involve other people and some coordination, but I think it would be worth the effort.
So Ceci, make sure that we get her access to the influence course if she does not have it already, because that course will help you figure out how to be more influential in that regard.
So if this person or these people watching this video, which has been turned into audio format, if they're in this academy, don't they have access to all the courses? Kind of weird. Oh God, now the cat is at it.
Mike Thurlow, Brendon, when doing bonuses, what are some of the different kinds of bonuses that you should offer to maximize the conversion of your potential customers? Mike, here's what I want you to do. You draw your offer in the middle. Okay, so he's like, what's the main offer? Put it down. Then write, what are the top 3 needs that offer solves? Okay, then I want you to draw 1 circle, 2 circle, 3 circles around it. And in each of those 3 circles, I want you to identify another need that is not yet met in the middle. Okay, so you wrote down 3 of the major needs, and maybe that offer in the middle actually solves 5 needs. I don't care. I want you to write down 3. And then I want you to think of these other buckets. What other need can we solve? And that's how you're going to build your bonuses, right? Not what else do you know, because you might have to go to research to figure out those extra bonuses. What's the other need they could solve? So example, when I sold Experts Academy, I'd often say, we're going to solve all these things about how to position yourself, package yourself, promote yourself, get partners, all that stuff in the middle. But then I think about, okay, you know what they're also going to need? They're going to need a how to build a web page. Okay, that's different. Okay, so that's one thing, how to build one thing, right? Then they're going to need to know how to sell. Just that's one thing. Do a sales video, really great. Okay, then they're going to need to know how to do something else. So it's like just positioning 3 things around to build out that area of need. Mike Thurlow, really good question. I think we have a video in Thought Leader Roadmap. Let's give Mike that in case he doesn't have it, on how to do a great offer. Just for being here, Mike. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody who's here with us right now. Don Atkins, can you explain pixels? I know the pixels in a picture and how to edit pixels in Adobe. You keep talking about pixels to pick up who's visiting the website. Is that correct? Yes. Donna, those are called marketing pixels, or otherwise known as Facebook pixels.
Remarketing pixels, and more than Facebook, everything has a pixel. There's Google remarketing pixels. There's Facebook/Instagram remarketing pixels. There's TikTok pixels. There's Pinterest pixels. You can put a pixel for anything on your site.
Okay. And what a pixel is it's basically, think about it as a little tracker that you're putting on your website that follows people. And the best way to do and understand pixels is just type in Facebook pixels in Google, and then Facebook will pop up a page that will explain all about it.
What's a pixel? Open up Google and type in the word pixel, and it'll tell you all about it. Yeah, it's a tracking thing. And basically what it means is that if I have a Facebook pixel on my website, and you come to my website and then you're on Facebook later, I can serve you an ad. And I can also have it track not just page views, so like views on my website, but I can also have it track certain actions. So for example, if I want to serve up an ad to everyone who has put something in the shopping cart but has not checked out yet, I could serve up a Facebook ad because I'm tracking those behaviors. How is that hard to explain? Like, just explain it in the moment. And if she wants more information about like how to set it up on her specific website or whatever, then, Google that. But why not answer some basic information in these broadcasts? That's what I don't understand.
It's what's going to happen is they're going to give you a little code.
Okay.
And that little code, you're going to put in on your website code. And that way you're going to know who actually hit your page. You'll be able to work with Facebook to tell who visited this web page, and you'll be able to retarget them again.
Yeah, retarget. It won't tell you who. It'll just give you like, so if let's say that in this fake example where I said I want to take out an ad to people who'd put something in the cart, what I can do is I can look at my pixel and I can, make that audience, and it'll tell me an approximate size of that audience. It'll say there's, under 1,000 people in this audience or something, but it won't tell me who they are. So I can take out an ad to them, but if Facebook told me who they were, that would be way too easy, wouldn't it? I wouldn't have to buy an ad through Facebook if I knew who they were.
So if you heard me say retargeting pixels or Facebook pixels, this is essentially what it does. It's just a little bit of code you drop onto your website that interacts with Facebook or any other tracking system, so you know who hit there, okay? So just go to facebook.com/ads, and I think it kind of explains the whole thing.
Did I explain the pixel better, or did he? Feel free to leave a comment.
Yeah, fb.com/ads, and it will explain the whole 9 yards. Okay, we're gonna get you a thing that will help you kind of figure out online marketing a little bit within Experts Academy. That's for Donna for being here. Alex Primo, Brendon. And by the way, Donna, that's a great question. And never feel anybody here asking anything about marketing questions, because things change so much. So always be asking questions. Alex, Brendon, if my launch doesn't get too many buyers, reopening the cart may affect the image of my brand. That is, leads will not believe that my cart will really close in future promotions. Alex from Brazil. Here's what's up, Alex. I agree with you 100%. I have always felt, and this has been my opinion since 2009, I've told in the marketplace, I do not agree with all these online marketers doing reopens. If they say it closes, the offer closes on Friday, they should not be doing a reopen on Monday for any BS excuse they come up with. And by the way, I have friends who do that. And I have lots of
Marie Forleo does that.
Peers in the online marketing world who say, but Brendon, we're picking up another 20% of sales by doing that. I'm like, yes.
No, I'm wrong. You know who it is Amy Porterfield. She'll take out an ad saying the course is closing in 48 hours, and then you'll go to the webpage and it's closing in 12 days. So it's like fake urgency because it's not actually closing for a little while longer. So sorry, did not mean to falsely attribute something to Marie Forleo that I actually don't know is happening.
And you're killing your long-term credibility with your audience as well. And they say, well, that doesn't matter because, well, they're not the same kind of brand or business that we're after, Alex. You're right. Shut it down. If you said it closes on Friday at noon, it closes down. But remember, you said that offer closes. Doesn't mean the product and the availability of it ever goes away. Let me give you guys an example. When I launch Experts Academy with affiliates and I do a big promotion for it, when I close that offer, let's say I close that Friday at midnight, they can still buy a version of Experts Academy next Monday, a month later, 2 months later. But it's not that specific offer with all of those bonuses. So if you have an offer with your product and it doesn't do well and you closed it and you're like, I still need to make money, you can still sell your thing, but you can't do that same package of that product and all those bonuses. That makes sense? So maybe you do that same thing, but without the bonuses, or less valuable bonuses, or a different version of the course. So I think we need to bust this whole myth in the marketing industry, which, to my absolute stunning surprise, people are still doing this in their businesses. They're doing a launch of a product once per year. I'm like, because you know what? No one doing a launch of a product once per year is running their business for their students. They are doing it for either their convenience or for old myths in online marketing.
So Marie Forleo, that one's shots fired.
Because those who are really into service would not be like, oh, I'm only going to open it once a year. The open it once a year thing is old school fear-based online marketing that thought, well, if it's open all the time, we won't have as much sales in our business. We won't have as big a launches. And over, this is 8 years, we've proven that wrong. When we pioneered in 2009, just to prove to the marketplace that they were wrong, when we started Experts Academy, High Performance Academy, and all of my brands on Evergreen, and still for the next 5 years crushed our launches at the same or more level with that product still being available evergreen. Again, we just added different bonuses and different pricing. So maybe your launch, the price is less during the launch than it normally is retail the rest of the year. If the world's highest paid marketing trainer had an entire archive of marketing training, I would watch every one of those with my journals with real due diligence, because that's how I got to where I am now. I went through all of the online marketing trainings, courses and seminars. I bought those. I put them into tests. I try to get better and innovate and keep at it. And I hope you still get the feeling I'm with you guys. I'm still learning. You know, I don't get everything right. I've failed at so many promotions in the past, but
I failed, but see, he's about to say, but
don't get discouraged, because we're just learning along the way, and you'll get better and you'll get better and you'll get better, and you'll always be marketing.
Okay, this might be another ad, so I'm just going to note the timestamp here.
Hey, it's Brendon. I'm jumping in here to tell you about another show on the Growth Day Podcast Network. Yes, both of my shows are on the Growth Day Podcast Network. My show, Motivation with Brendon Burchard, and Marketing with Brendon Burchard. Those two shows are sponsored by the Growth Day Podcast Network. But
both of those shows are sponsored by my company, my podcast. This video is sponsored by Breaking Even Communications, an internet marketing firm that's been helping small businesses since 2007. BreakingEvenInc.com/contact if you want to learn more.
we have 4 other incredible shows that we have launched with. The first show is Straight Up with Trent Shelton. Trent is just an incredible motivational speaker. If you've never seen this guy on stage or listened to his podcast, go subscribe to Straight Up with Trent Shelton. He's got over 12 million fans online. Why? Because he just brings the fire. He's so incredibly passionate. He's so knowledgeable about the struggles we have with our mental health, with our relationships. And like I said, he's just absolutely a beast on stage. When you see Trent bring it, it's so incredible. Well, his podcast is a reflection of that. I mean, Trent's one of those guys charging $50,000 or $100,000 per keynote talk, and you can go access his podcast for free. That absolutely blows my mind. So I love podcasting. So go just subscribe to Straight Up with Trent Shelton. It's an incredible show that will keep you inspired. You'll hear about his real life struggles as he's trying to deal with his health. You know, being a former NFL player, an athlete, when he gets injured, or how he's trying to build his business, or how he's trying to maintain positive relationship in his life where, as a creator, you know, so many people are judgmental. He's an incredible force in this world, a great friend, and somebody I know you'll learn a lot from. I just love his episodes. So go to Straight Up with Trent Shelton and subscribe today. Hey, it's Brendon, and I want to tell you about Circle and how powerful it is if you're.
All right, so I'm going to stop him right here because, like, this is continuing ads. So I just did the math. This whole podcast is 1 hour and 7 minutes, so 67 minutes. There has been 9 minutes of ad content. So I'm counting the stuff at the beginning before it started. The, first 4 minutes and 20 seconds was all kind of advertising his stuff. The partial ad break in the middle where he talked about growthday.com, and then this part at the end. So if we look at the total 9 minutes out of a 67-minute podcast, 13.43% essentially ads. So just FYI. I don't know. I might just play to see if there's anything else at the end. Okay, there's just ads. So I wish Brendon Burchard would have said that this was how to save a failing online course promotion. I just thought if it was like, okay, this is a failing promotion. Okay, so I'm running ads and no one's clicking through. Okay, like what are the kinds of reasons your ads might not be converting? Okay, oh, is the failure that people are getting to the website, no one's buying? Okay, here are some things that keep people from putting something in their online shopping cart. Oh, is it that, they're putting it in the cart and they're not checking out? Okay, here are some, I thought it was going to be more like that. I think that would have been more fun. But anyway, what did we learn from Brendon Burchard? Well, we learned that, and he kept coming back to this idea, which I actually agree with, which is marketing is testing and always trying to make it better. And I'll be sitting sometimes in meetings and people will be like, well, I don't think this is going to work because X, Y, and Z. And the marketing person in me is like, I just want to be like, well, let's just test it. Like, let's put it out there and let's see what kind of feedback we get. So I 100% agree with this approach about marketing. And I think the reason that people don't approach it this way is that, they spend a lot of money and or time on it. And, you want to think that obviously you spend a lot of time and money on something that's going to be good. But this idea that it's going to keep getting better over time and that sometimes you just have to get some sample data, I'm 100% comfortable with. He thinks you should reshoot, rewrite, redesign whatever the offer is as many times as you need to. He doesn't care if you have to reshoot that video 10 times. And the reason he doesn't care is because his full-time job is making content. So I care. You shouldn't have to, like I said, it's one thing if you want to reshoot something, but it's another thing to say, hey, listen, I can't reshoot it. Okay, what are some ways that I can make this better, right? Because sometimes you can't. And I'm acknowledging that. And what he says about the reshooting is basically what you can do is obviously put a piece of content. He uses video a lot as the example, so I'll use that too. Put a video online. Once it gets 100 views, if nobody's clicking through, reshoot the video. So obviously he's just assuming that everyone can get 100 views on a video when that's not actually necessarily accurate. But his idea is that you need to reshoot or rewrite or whatever once you've put it out there and it's not getting the traction that you want. That said, most of your sales are going to come at the end of your offer. So if you're like, hey, I'm offering this special promotion of this class with these bonuses, it's available, it's available until Friday. The last sales most of the sales you're going to get are going to come in Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And basically don't panic if you launch the thing and you're not getting sales right away. It's really important in all of your marketing materials, whether they are videos or otherwise, to be enthusiastic about what you're selling. I know, write that one down because you had no idea. And then he's talking about, he made the distinction in this between like a lower value course versus a higher value course. I think the sort of economic line he drew was, $500 and higher is a high level course, or a lower level course is something under that. And he says that at this level, this is more tactical education. And kind of like how you start is like, this is what you need to know. I feel like this is aggressive and I wouldn't ever say anything like that. But, I guess that's the difference between me and multiple 7-figure launches. But, you need to know how to, install and use a remarketing pixel, how to set up ad sets with your remarketing pixel, and how to iterate your ad sets over time so that your costs go down per acquisition, right? So these are things you need to know in, say, a Facebook ad class. And then with your offer obviously is going to have objections. And a lot of the ones he used were like time or money objections. My wife's going to think I'm crazy if I spend $297 in a class about confidence. And then this is where you're supposed to confidently address major objections and how people can overcome them or how you can help them overcome them, right? So there is going to be objections. You pretending there isn't is not going to help you. You facing them head on with confidence is going to show your audience that you know what you're talking about. And I don't agree with this, which is why, he says that according to his Facebook ad stuff, that interview style videos, so pieces of content where he's being interviewed by somebody else about subject matter, have been, are more successful. And he did this by looking at his top 10 most successful video promotions and saying that 4 of them were interview style. So to me, this is not an adequate enough sample size to actually make this call. That is my opinion. But I could also see that someone interviewing you as a subject matter expert would, showcase that you really know your stuff much better than you talking to a camera. So I could see that working, but I'm not sure if his sample size is big enough to really say that's for sure. Now, if we compare our low value to our high value courses, so our high value courses, we have to take it. It's not like other girls, it's not like other courses approach. And in that we have to, if we've done these kind of lower price content, we have to like physically go into a different environment that's higher level. We need to kind of change that vibe, change that scene, because with high level courses, we're assuming people are successful and that they are taking this course to get to the next level. So what is next level? And in pitching a higher level course, people are going to want to see examples of other people being successful. So you're going to need more case studies, but also while being clear that like, you know, results not typical. So yeah. And the idea with a high level course is that you're giving people a full system and some real like, you know, big picture and tactical stuff versus just the lower value courses. So instead of teaching a low value course, or a lower like level course might be, you know, Facebook ads in your business. It's sort of the pixel example I talked about a second ago. A system might be like how to, you know, use Facebook ads to, you know, increase, you know, your, you know, lead generation for your whatever, for your small business or something. So it's more like strategy and big picture in addition maybe to the tactical stuff, but it's systems with how to do things. And this is the part that I was like, and with a high level course, you actually have to care about how people do in it. And it's like, yeah, I think you should generally, like when you sell something, you should care how people are going to do with it. But I get it. Like if someone buys a $15 book, you don't know who they are. So like you can't necessarily like care about them. But even if someone bought like a $200 course, I feel like you should still care about their outcomes. It doesn't have to be just a high level course thing, but I thought that's why I put it in caps, because I was like, this is ridiculous. In answering the Q&As, he made an offhanded comment that it shouldn't take more than 2 to 4 weeks to get your course online. So you shooting it, editing and uploading it should be fit within a 2 to 4 week window. So you basically get it out there, you give it to free to some people, they write testimonials, and then you sell it. And part of what you do when you're offering an offer, right, is that you don't have to be like, oh, this course is going away. But part of what you're creating with this is expiring Friday is this course with this bundled products are expiring Friday. So you don't want to change the price. You might want to change the bonuses. So this is where the bonuses come in. So if I was doing a Facebook ads course, okay, what else would people need to know? Well, people would need to be able to set up a landing page on their website. So I would probably need to show them how to set that up. I would also people would also need to know how to design creative, you know, so if they were going to, you know, do images in ads and how those would convert. So I'd probably want to do about, you know, testing creative in ads, or making good ad creative might be a bonus that I would offer. So the bonuses would address the other needs that the course presents and maybe doesn't fully go into. So yeah. Do I think Brendon Burchard knows what he's talking about? You'll notice that a lot of this content was veering into motivation and mindset a lot more than marketing. So I think he knows about pixels, but he doesn't seem to understand them deeply enough to explain them well. He was like, oh, go to Facebook, you know, facebook.com/ads, and it'll explain pixels. So like, to me, if like he was really confident in like, you know, these marketing concepts, I feel like he could just explain them. So I think he somewhat knows what he's talking about, but I think he's probably 70% motivational guru, 30% marketer, if I was going to put a percentage on it. Anyway, don't do that. Come here. Come here. All right, so the cats, I've been recording for 3 hours and they are ready to eat. So we're going to go take care of, this is Bart. We're going to go take care of Bart and Marco here, and probably the dog. I think the dog finally got tired of getting let in and out of the house. I'm going to close out the broadcast here. If you have any gurus or topics you want me to react to, even specific videos, you can leave them as a comment wherever you're watching this. Or if you're more shy, you can use the contact form of the website and I will get that. I'm always looking for new people, and every time I think I found them all, the universe reminds me I haven't, like it did with that Reddit post. And yeah, these gurus will keep on coming, but don't worry. You've got a friend in the marketing industry, and you don't have to pay me more than $500 for me to care about your experience on my YouTube channel or with my content in general. Have a great day, and I will see you next time. Take care.